Okay, so Flux and stuff here, and I've got a stock fuselage right out of the box, and I'm going to show you how to install a AEO fan inside this fuselage for this 1-to-1 MiG modification. So you'll notice, I'm just going to use the housing for this demonstration. You'll notice I put a lug here. This is a piece from a coat hanger, little 3M Blenderum on the edge there. You could use a piece of carbon rod, save a little weight. Everything matters around here. If that weighs a gram, it matters. Okay, so here we are going to take a look. One thing that's important to note while doing this is the way these two pieces fit together using this relief, this cutout, kind of sandwiched together like that. So we're going to be using that quite a bit. Another thing is these tabs that were used for the original motor. You can see if the motor is, you know, the housing shroud is right up against these white motor tabs, the tail, the hole in the top is actually perfectly aligned for exiting the cables and or motor leads. And I don't think you want to be putting it up here, though. I think that might be a little bit better for the center of gravity because this motor is lighter. Because I don't think you want the efflux to have exposure to the under canopy like that and blowing up the canopy from the inside. So I think this is where we want to put it, which is right here at the front of this. We don't need these guys, so I'm going to pop these out, get rid of these. I guess they have a little bit of CA on them. There you go, get rid of those. Gonna line this up right where I wanted it. I'm gonna press it so I can get a indentation into the foam like that. And this is actually going to pop out the top when you get this right, right where you want it to be. So we're gonna squeeze, and you can start to see it's starting to pop through right there. And it's just the hair that comes through. Okay, now that we kind of have it where we want on that side, we line up those tabs that I talked about a second ago, and we kind of sandwich it in, making sure that these tabs at the bottom here line up. Oh, this lug here is so I don't get any rotation. Make sure that's on the edge there. And just going to sandwich it together, watching this one here. What I want to do is get a score at this point. You can see that there's no way in the world this is going to fit together as this. I'm just kind of making a mark. So on the top and the bottom, I have a clear mark of what I'm trying to, where the fan is going to go. I'm going to take the knife and I'm just going to gently score it. I guess I'll do the bottom first. You can see I'm kind of coming in at a little bit of an angle here. This housing has a little bit of a flare to it. I guess you could just trim the housing, but you know what? I'm not going to mess with that. It's a delicate thing, and I don't mind cutting this stupid little foam up a little bit to get what I want, as opposed to modifying the EDF. I'm using the tip and I'm just taking it out gently. Cool. So just pop that in and see how that worked out. And you can see how it worked out by looking down the barrel, and what you're trying to do is see this to be absolutely flush or even countersunk. And based on what I got here, can I get this in the light? Yeah, that'd be a little bit better. To me, that's looking really good. That was a little too easy. Okay, maybe I'm getting good at this. Okay, let's not speak before we try to put it together. You'll notice when you go to put it together, it will not be that easy. It will require a little bit more effort. If you need, you can just do another line, a couple millimeters behind the original. And just coming in an angle here. When you're done with this, if you really have need, you can put a little bit of CA in this trough that we're cutting out here and reinforce it, but I haven't found it's necessary. And you can see I've popped, actually gone through all the way there, which is okay, it's no big deal. And there we go, look it out a little bit there. A tiny bit more. Okay, test fit it one more time. You can start to see that it's starting to pop through the top there. And we're going to take a look at what that looks like down the shaft. And that's actually looking pretty good too. Now the secret is when you go to put it together, it should go together like really sweet. There should be no... See how I'm starting to get this little opening, this little bit of a gap here? That gap does not exist when you've got this perfectly. You can see there's a gap up here as well. So we have to do a little bit more work, but what we can do is we can look down the shaft, and you can kind of see that the lower half is out a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of press the rear in there so I can get an impression of it. And sure enough, I've got a line. And if you can see, here's the original EDF ending, and here's the line of the new housing. And it's this relief here that's causing the problem. So I'm just going to do this real simple. I'm going to put a dozen, 2 dozen, or 3 dozen little scores all along that area. I'm going to cut it like so along the edge. And I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to cut it out. And it comes right off, nice and clean. I'll do the same on this side. Of course, you want a sharp blade to do this. Of course, it gets harder the more you get in there, so I'm just going to cut gently. Patience is the key to all of this stuff, guys and girls. And here we go. Look, it's starting to come up. This is more than enough. It does the job. Like I said, you can lay a little bit of CA in there just to reinforce this area if you want. But you are not trying to gap fill it, because if you gap fill it, then you're going to have to go back in there and carve out whatever, if you get a rough spot. And trying to carve this out once you have some CA in there is going to be 10 times harder than what you're doing right now. So less is more, always. Okay. And I can let me get my lug lined up right. Oh yeah, you can totally see now. Let me get that back in there. That the fan is actually down in the fuselage. And we'll put the top on, lining it up nice and nice. And you can start to see that this is starting to come together a lot nicer. Okay, let's do the top half, and I think we'll be done. I think my cameraman's starting to get fatigued. Okay, I can see that there's a little bit of a line here where this goes, and I'll do the exact same thing. Score it on the outer edge, gently, of course. And then I'm going to come in sideways at where I can. And where I can't, I'm going to use a sharp blade and just Maybe this blade is not as sharp as I would like. Okay. It just comes right apart. All those little scores paying off. Okay. I think we are done. Let's take a look. Okay. You can totally see that it's now sitting down in the fuselage better. We will line this up nice and gentle, and you can see without any effort at all, the fuselage is coming together nicely. And we can look down the tube, and you can see that once I glue this, once I glue this and get it right where I want, I think we're done. So I can certainly work on the fit a little bit. I can do that on my own. I think you got enough here to know what you know to do. But we are certainly in the ballpark, and it's just a little bit of more work, and I think this is going to fit together nicely. So there you go, guys. Hope that's helpful.